Before buying property, watch this. There's never been a more challenging time to buy property. It's a time where more landlords are leaving the property market than ever. Less first-time buyers are able to actually buy, and for those of us who are in it for the long haul, we're facing more and more government involvement. It's terrible. But what if I told you that following a set of simple steps could set you and I apart from the masses who are stuck? This is why you want to watch this before buying your next property. Good day, Samuel Can Win here, and if you weren't aware, I've helped hundreds of our cash flow creation clients get free from financial prisons without using shady tactics and without reducing their already limited time to focus on family and other favorable things. And now I'm going to teach you how to. Your first key to win before buying your next property is to decide if this is an investment or a liability. Now, as simple as this sounds, most people actually skip this step, but when you use this key, you will have clarity throughout the whole journey. This step, when mixed with a later key that I'll share in this video too, provides you with the foundation of peace in the property buying process. If, like most, you decided not to use this first key, the accidental landlord trap becomes inevitable. And this is where you focus on the property before your strategy. And this typically has landlords getting properties and figuring out how they will make money from those properties after the fact, which makes no real sense. Now, what most people attempt to try to fix this problem is settling for mediocre returns of £100 to £300 per month per property and basically hoping that a situation will solve itself. Or even worse, selling up and assuming that the capital gains bill is a better solution than weathering the storm. So here is how we actually use this key. Simply put, you take a non-judgmental stance and think about what you genuinely want. Because not every purchase is an investment, and you have to be okay with that. But equally, if you're buying a liability believing it's an investment, that is not cool. Now let's look at a real example to see exactly what this could look like for you. Let's take a £300,000 property which you desire to buy and live in. Let's say it has 3 bedrooms and it perfectly fits you and your family. Now, you won't have any spare rooms, you won't have any parking to rent out to other people, and you won't have any rentable storage spaces either. So if you decided to buy this property as a liability, that's super cool, because you'll be paying out a mortgage every single month and be receiving in no cash flow from that property each and every month. Now, I know there will be those who will say to us, what about the growth of the property? Well, as we both know, that's not something in our control. So it's not something that we factor in as part of our investment. Instead, if or when that happens, it's a cherry on top. With that, let's look at the next key, and that is the purpose of the purchase. You need to determine the purpose of the purchase. Specifically, what is your exit strategy? When this is done, you will have a clear path beyond the purchase process, as you now know your end destination. And as a result, all roads will lead right there. Now, the problem for other landlords is that they tend to have a generalistic purpose, resulting in no clear exit strategy. And this often looks like a person who buys a property and says, I bought this property to make money when it goes up in value. And then they don't use the increased value by remortgaging due to fear, or in many cases, don't even sell up either to take advantage of the property's uplift. So to avoid this, or even worse scenarios like the value not going up at all and being trapped financially like many saw in the 2008 credit crisis, here is how you determine the purpose of the purchase. Marry the property to an existing or a future goal, desire, or need. You see, say you have a daughter who's 4 years old today, and you see her going to university at the age of 18. If the purpose of the purchase is to fund her university, you could buy today and save the monthly cash flow made for the 14 years, so that university fees are not an issue. Alternatively, if you desire for her to just have her own place to stay when she starts university, then you can buy the place now and enjoy the cash flow, but have the place available by the time she starts university. In the first example, a sale of the property around your daughter's 18th isn't an issue, especially if the property has increased in value, because the property has served its purpose. In the second example, a sale of the house is out of the question, as it literally defeats the purpose. Now, before I move on to the next key, if you desire to get clearer on where you currently are in your cash flow journey and how you can literally achieve your property purpose much faster, then make sure you click the link in the description and the comment section below, because I have a free quiz that will assist you deeper on how to figure out your best next steps for your property cash flow journey. This quiz will walk you through the important questions to ask and then provide you with a tailored, tried and tested path to succeed. Again, make sure you click the link in my description and comment section below. Now, with that shared, let's move on to the next key to win before buying your next property. Key 3 is to have a plan B. You see, having a clear plan B will allow you to have reassurance that market movements like interest rate changes or government legislation will not catch you too off guard. I'm sure we've both met the person who didn't have a plan B, and then later on the tables turned and then they had no clue what to do. This is the deer in headlights scenario, the fish out of water situation. That you get the point. The reason this happens so often is because many landlords think the market will stay the same as it is. This leaves them attempting to fix things, either going with the flow and following mainstream media outlets, which we both know do not have our best interests at heart, or in the worst of cases, sitting on their hands, ignoring the actual changes because of fear of making a massive mistake. Now, having a plan B is as simple as asking yourself this amazing question: what is the worst that could happen? You see, many of us optimists only think of the best and create our plans based on that, which is fine. However, when developing our plan B, prepare for the worst. What if the interest rates double? What if the government increases the taxes? What if your daughter decides she isn't going to university? Every step we take away from our ideal investing scenario makes us have a more robust and valuable plan B that we can use to keep us prepared as we go ahead. The next key I have for you when it comes to buying your next property is, do I actually know what I'm doing? Ensure you know exactly what you're doing. Doing this right will have you buying with competence as well as confidence. Now, the statistics show that the majority of landlords don't know what they're really doing, which is understandable as they don't teach property investing in school. The UK buy-to-let mortgages halving from 2022 to 2024 from 25,280 to 12,422 is just one of these indicators. Now, also, we've had the fact that landlords have been selling more properties than they've been buying properties since as far back as 2016, and not to mention the reducing profitability of many landlords due to their large underestimation of the impact of regulations on revenue. Now, if the statistics are right, what most are doing to literally fix this problem is underestimating the impact of not knowing, or worse still, asking those who are older rather than those who are wiser for solutions. The real key to ensure you know exactly what you're doing is to ensure you're not asking the wrong people. By asking the right people the right questions, you equip yourself with the right knowledge. A clear example of this is how one of my students, James, went from investing around £30,000 on property courses, which helped him build a 2-property portfolio, making him £600 per month, to working with me and my team and having the very same 2 properties generate him over £4,500 a month, which allowed him to go full-time into property and start living his dream. The next key before buying your next property is to decide what structure of ownership is best for you to use. When mixed with key 1 and done properly, you will have decades of satisfaction, which can even impact your next generation as well. Because many accidental landlords take the path of least resistance and just buy properties in their own personal names, they later find that small tweaks in tax or legislation results in them wanting to shift the structure of their property's ownership later down the line, and this can become immensely costly. Now, to avoid this problem, I've heard of landlords paying stamp duty more than once, crippling themselves financially as they transfer properties from one structure to the next, or even procrastinating and not buying at all due to analysis paralysis. The real fix is to use all the insights gathered from all the keys I've shared to decide which structure, whether personal, business, or trust, fits better for your purpose and your plan. Personal is great for speed of transaction, business is best for maximizing immediate cash flow, and trusts are ideal for securing long long-term financial wealth. Be sure to get financial and legal advice on the best structure for you based on your unique circumstances, as everyone is different. A simple example I like to share to help demonstrate this point is if you purchase a property in your personal name just for the speed of the transaction and later realize that you desire to transfer this property into a business structure, the legal and tax implications alone, although may free up some more monthly cash flow, could actually cripple you and result in eroding all of the equity and potential profits in the initial purchase. Now, at this point of the video, you might be wondering, what are the real differences between saving and investing when you are actually purchasing property? That's why your next step is to go watch this video where I'll teach you how to get your assets working for you more than you working for your assets. Thanks for watching this video, and remember that small keys open up big doors.